We're live early.
Yeah, Dave already made us wait till 7:30. Don't make us wait another 3 minutes now.
God damn it, Dave.
Jeez.
David.
Wait, no, he's back. Act cool.
I'm here. Wait, are we talking to people?
We are live, and but we're just at the hold screen, so they can just hear our voices.
Loading.
How do we sound, guys? Did they already say anything? Let me check.
I think we should sound fine.
I
I love you guys so much, by the way, because even though I was having mic issues last week, they were like, "No, he has to stay," and that just shows you how great they are. Best people in the world, man.
They really are, man. The Game Cats are, dude. I was.
I heard you guys shit talking me right before I got here.
No,
all in good fun,
about?
David. we would never shit talk intentionally or realistically.
Oh yeah, I'm just having fun.
Yeah.
Unless it's about Bravo Team, then I'll do it all day.
I don't think that's shit talking. I think that's just describing the game exactly how it came out.
That's a good point.
Yep. I will say I want to give a shout out to not only Wolfie Smith, who gave us an amazing donation before the show even started, but I also want to
Panda.
What we got it Panda too?
Good. Sorry, no, I call him Red Panda. Sorry, continue.
Wolfie Smith is Red Panda.
Yeah, because he had his avatar or whatever, his YouTube icon was a red panda for the longest time, and nobody ever knew that. So nobody ever knew because they don't know what a red panda looked like. So I just love calling him that, and people be like, "Why the hell is he saying red panda all the time?"
That's so weird. I just for the first time in my entire life saw a picture of a red panda, like last weekend. My niece and nephew went to a zoo. Yeah, it doesn't look like a panda. It looks like a raccoon or something.
It's the sign of the universe trying to.
Oh, I've seen these guys. So cute.
Yeah, they're adorable.
I just want to get so the real shout out, other than Red Panda himself, I do want to give a shout out to all the people who changed their name to GameCat over the last 24 hours. I've never seen so many people all at once change their name to GameCat. Like it's usually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like an entire week. I think like 10 people did it in the last 12 hours.
Nice.
So I want to give a shout out to all of the new GameCats out there.
Wow, that was quite a meow.
I'm in heat, baby.
Stepping it up.
Yeah.
Also, before we get the show started, shout out to Mako XL who just donated as well. Guys, I think it's time to start the show. What do you think?
Let's do it.
Does that count?
Yeah, it works.
I say Mako.
And we're starting. I love this cat so much.
It's a cool cat.
This is how I want Tornado to look. My imaginary cat Tornado.
I mean, I'd probably just name the cat Jaws, really. It just seems practical at this point.
Now you've ruined it. That makes way more sense.
That's what I do.
Just ruin things.
Oh yeah, well, I ruin games. Really bad. Some of them...
Polish Ball spoiled the ending of 11/11 for me in the Twitter chat.
That's okay. You don't have to mention it.
Wait a minute.
Don't mention what he spoiled.
Wait. Before we even start the show, I'm curious to know about, was the spoiler the thing that happens at the end of the 11 minutes?
No, at the end of it. So there's 5 chapters, and then once you crack all those...
Okay. Cool. Nope. Good. Just wanted to make sure.
Batman, Wolfie, Robert Sullivan, Connected Shats, non-profit, Chief. What else we got here?
Void Citizen, Madman, Chats.
Yeah, we gotta get Vegan VR King.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Vegan and VR. That's pretty impressive. Guys on fist bump too.
That would be right now, buddy.
Okay.
Welcome to PSVR GamesCast Live, everybody. I'm Bryan Paul from Channel Without Parole, the one you're watching right now. Also in the middle here, we have Dave from Davestation VR. I have to tell people what your name is because I don't put, for whatever reason, Dave, just Davestation.
Yeah, they can figure it out.
When I talk about you, I call you Davestation. I don't go Dave from Davestation. I say, fuck you, your name is Davestation.
For some reason, I introduce myself as Dave from Davestation on my own videos, which seems redundant, but I'm just used to it. Anyways,
you start saying, I'm Davestation from Devastator. And then, of course, to the far left, that is AJ from his own channel, PSVR Underground, but he is also a member of Without Parole. He does all the guides and all of the tips and a surprising amount of reviews these days.
Yeah.
What's going on, buddy?
Nothing much, man. Life is peachy. We got tons of games to talk about and tons of games on the horizon. I cannot wait for.
We have a ton of games to talk about. I do want to do a little bit of housekeeping before we really get started, though, and make sure that everybody knows to obviously subscribe to all, if you're not already subscribed to Without Parole, subscribe here, but also subscribe to Dave at Davestation VR and AJ at PSVR Underground. On top of that, make sure you join us in all the places you can join us. The biggest one is probably our Discord server right now. You can find that link in the description. We're even changing some of the rules around there. Me and the moderators are having constant conversations behind the scenes saying, this is what the GameCats want. How can we make this a possible thing? And they're doing an amazing job over there. So shout out to all the moderators on the channel. They're really doing God's work for sure. Also, you can join us on the PlayStation 4 community as well as PSVR Without Parole GameCats. GameCats, all one word. And I think that's all the housekeeping, I believe. I don't know.
Housekeeping.
Yeah, I'm having a weird day. I feel like I didn't do enough setup. I'm not actually ready for the stream. So the fact that it's even working, I'm like, there's something very wrong here today. I'm not sure what it is. All right, guys. Let's. You guys want to talk about what we've been playing?
Yeah, man. Real quick. Thank you, Stay Warm, for noticing. I did jazz up the wall a little bit. I had to get a little stuff going here. What's up, Nerfin?
Is that Resident Evil 7 up on the wall?
That is
Astrobot.
That is Resident Evil 7, Astrobot, and Skyrim, and Rush of Blood. And, of course, I've got Farpoint right here, too. I just don't know what to do with all these games yet, but I will find somewhere for them. And then, of course, this hat, I got to give a shout-out to Davestation. When I joined Without Parole.
Is this the hat?
Davestation, yes.
That's the hat.
Davestation was so nice and sent me a Beat Saber hat, and I freaking love this thing, man. So thank you so much for that.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Can we get a close-up just to see the details on it?
Yeah, I think so. Let me see.
Like one of those big kind of snapback.
There we go.
That is so cool, man. That's about as cool as hats get.
There's like some dog hair on it because my dog's hairy.
You didn't put it on your dog, did you? Is he going
no,
wearing the?
No, but I have put a hat on him before, and he looks adorable. I don't think he likes it very much though.
And those don't light up, do they? The blocks on the front, that would be.
They do not.
Good. I mean, that would be super dumb, but I kind of want it to happen anyway.
But it's by far my favorite hat in the world,
Nice.
besides my lucky beanie.
Excellent. Yeah, dude, the room is looking a lot better for sure. So thanks for sprucing it up for us.
Nice, Hobbit. Cool, man. No problem.
It's all about looking pretty. All right, so who wants to go first? What do we want to talk about in terms of what we've been playing?
Any takers? Sounds like AJ.
So I think let's see. Let's go ahead and get the little one out of the way. We had virtual reality come out. We obviously we'll get to everybody's golf. We want to go in depth on that. Virtual reality came out by Tender Claws Games and might be a little under everybody's radar because there was no trailers, no nothing really, and it just all of a sudden, bam, there it is. It's coming out. So got a first look at that, and it's not really my kind of game. It's kind of like a job. It's like a trippy job simulator. It's really weird, which I like. But I like gameplay, and it doesn't really have good gameplay, but it has lots of different scenes you can go through, and it's as weird as possibly can be, which I do like. Where there's like that stick of butter, and you're essentially in this game. You're going through. It's got kind of like a Portal vibe. And you're talking about you're doing different jobs for different clients, and you basically each job has like a little mini game and a crazy like visual level with it. And one has like you talking to a stick. I'm sure you guys met the butter.
Rub the toast on me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rub the toast all over me. So golden brown.
So you have to you have to toast
Very weird.
You have to burn to make sure you don't burn the toast, but you have to make the toast nice and toasty, and then you stick it to the butter, and it's just like, oh yeah, put it all over me, slather. It reminds me a little bit of.
I think it's pretty incredible, honestly. It's like Accounting Plus a little bit.
Right. Honestly, the missions kind of remind me of like some of the missions from like Conker's Bad Fur Day, where they're just like as ridiculous as possible.
Yeah, for sure. Although it takes a twist, I won't say too much, but halfway through-ish, maybe a third of the way through, it starts getting into this meta game where you're going behind the system that you're in and like kind of breaking things down a little bit. It's got definitely a Portal vibe in terms of like you're in the system and then you see the limits of it and you go outside of it to start fucking with stuff and like get out essentially. So that part's pretty interesting, I think, once the game sort of gets going. beyond just like the silly little mini games that you have to play and stuff.
Yeah, I like the level of humor that it has. Like there can be a lot of dialogue. Like it can get very like wordy, and you're just standing there like waiting for the next thing to happen. But from what I've seen so far, I'm probably about halfway through. I like that. Like if you look at Job Simulator, it's something that like you always see kids that are playing, and like parents being like, "Oh, my little kid loves this" or whatever. Or it's fun for all ages. This seems like kind of from the get-go there is something like darker and something amiss here, where it's like maybe I don't know like how inappropriate it might be for
I think it's really oddball, but it's probably not. Like Accounting Plus is similarly oddball, but it's characters like screaming and cursing at you the whole
Right.
time, and like some pretty gory stuff, like when you the king of VR or whatever. This one is a lot more family friendly. I think like some kids who are into kind of quirky stuff, I think would be able to play it without any issues and get into it and like it. So
Right.
way more than
I think a younger audience, and I know firsthand because I've talked to some kids about it, and they
What are
definitely
you doing
love
talking to
that game.
kids? You allowed to talk to kids?
Yeah, man, I'm definitely allowed to talk to kids.
when AJ's not here, he's hanging out on playgrounds and stuff. It gets
Yeah.
real creepy real fast.
I keep getting older and they just stay the same.
I have a very young brother. Let's just put it that way.
Okay,
He's
fair enough.
younger than me.
Is he related to you?
Yeah, yeah.
A brother can mean lots
What
of things.
a question.
I don't
But
know.
yeah, shout out to my brother Elias. Love you, dude. He's awesome. He's a hell of a gamer. I've trained him well, so he's really good at video games. So
And chip off the old block there.
Wait, so are you saying he's played virtual reality?
yeah, and he loved it, and I was just like, I prefer a game with good gameplay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you're okay with that sort of passive, like Accounting Plus style gameplay, and
Right.
if the humor tickles you the right way, it's definitely worth a pickup. Although I think it's a little expensive at $20 because I've played it on Oculus Go and Google Daydream, and I think it was like $10 or $15. So they priced it up for the PlayStation version, but I don't think they added any new content.
Yeah,
So it's just a better looking version of the same thing,
it's-
pretty much.
It's $15 on Steam, so it's definitely $5 more, which PSVR GameCat, aka Scott Merrill, has us handled on. He just gave us a $5 donation. He said, "Got my Oculus Quest today. All I can spare is $5."
Ooh, hope you're enjoying it out there. I'm curious to hear people.
Yeah.
Anybody in the chat, if you got it and you got
Somebody-
feedback, let us know, man. 'Cause I'm
Somebody
curious
just
about that.
gave us some feedback. Hold on, where was it?
Oh, Nerfenstein says visuals are
Chris-
looking great.
Yeah, Chris Bayer. He was saying that wants the thoughts on the Oculus Quest. None of us have played the Quest yet. I'm really happy for the console. I think I think the thing that I think is really cool about it is how you kind of scan your area, and then it like sets up the layout for the game in that area, and kind of keeps you. I guess it's supposed to keep you from like running into walls and stuff. But he also says that he doesn't. He says the controllers are a little better. I mean, that's as expected. But he also says the visuals are like a cell phone display, and that's
Well, so
also expected.
That one, I kind of want to take a little bit of a counterpoint on, because the actual lenses, the screen and everything in the lenses are a much higher resolution than PSVR. So I think it's more that the processor is like a cell phone processor, so it can't push good enough graphics.
Yeah.
But the actual screen and the resolution and lenses and stuff are really good. So for like watching movies and stuff, you're going to get a much better resolution than you would on PSVR. But for games, it can't push the software like that. So
I've said over and over, man, that the Quest is, I think, the Quest more than PlayStation VR is going to sell more PlayStation VRs, because I think once you are able to like take that thing and throw it in your backpack and be like, I'm going to go for a walk and like down the street and show it to my friends, I'd be taking that thing to work. I'd be bringing it to the restaurant, and like before customers come in and be like, get everybody in Beat Saber and everybody trying out these virtual reality experiences and stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
I don't.
I mean,
I was
I'm
going to
gonna buy
say
one at some point. I think. I mean,
I was gonna say I don't really have like a use for like the room scale stuff, especially like I saw how like that video where Fast Travel Games had like basically laid out Apex Construct on a football field.
Yeah,
I was like, that's amazing, but you would never see me doing that in a million years.
I'm not
Like,
gonna run around and roll on the ground, honestly. Like I don't need to be that immersed.
no, not at all. Like I think it's very cool that the technology is there, but like I'm not the guy for that. Like I don't even want room scale like VR, because my space is very limited. Like I'm basically able to stand in front of my TV, play with my Move controllers, but like the second I take a step to the right, I'm gonna hit a wall. To take a step to the left, I'm gonna hit a bookshelf. Like I'm working with a very limited amount of space anyway. So like PSVR is sort of custom designed for what I'm doing. But yeah, no, Quest is gonna sell a ton of headsets.
like the wire on the PSVR doesn't at this point really get in my way anymore that much. Like I've figured it out, I don't even notice it, and it's not that heavy or a big of a deal, especially since the headset is so much more comfortable than other like PC VR and even Quest and stuff. So I don't know. I feel like with the amount of space that some of us have, it's not that much of an improvement to have the wireless. Although just bringing it to a friend's house is really cool. And just like popping it on and being like, "Hey man, check this out, super hot." I didn't have to bring my PS4 and my breakout box and my fucking everything.
Right, real quick. First of all, I have a travel case for all my PS4 and my Pro, and I take that anywhere I go.
I just don't like disconnecting it. That's my thing. It just takes time.
Take it to like
but a lot of the growing pains. Look, no matter the VR device, and Prophet, I see you there. I'm gonna get you in just a second, but I just wanted to say one more thing about the Quest and then move on. But a lot of VR in general, you guys got to remember that we are still in. This is phase 1, and everything coming out is going to have some kind of catch. It's going to have some kind of drawback to it, and you just have to understand that. If you understand that and know the expectations that, hey, this might be a little limited here and there, then you're going to be fine. But if you're just waiting for the VR where you can run in a swimming pool and play a game, and it's like you're in that game in a swimming pool, you're going to wait a while until PSVR 2 comes out, because it's going to be amazing. Real quick shout out to Non-Profit Socks, my dude. Legend. He says, love you, legends. P.S. Very excited for 5 Nights at Freddy's, and I am too.
Yeah.
Prophet.
For sure, I want to give a special shout out to NPS Free Socks. I was, like I always do before I get out of bed, there's no way in hell I can like actually get out of bed when I wake up. So I just like lay in bed. It's like 2 in the afternoon, and I'm like, oh my god, why am I so tired? And I pull out my cell phone, and and I go and like go through Tinder and all my other apps, and then I go through my YouTube recommendations, and if anyone's live streaming, I'm like, oh, I got to drop in here, and so I get to watch Free Socks play some Arkham Asylum today. It was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
I feel like now I know when to catch you if I want to get you watching my live streams.
Yeah, play at 2 p.m. man. I'll be crawling out of bed and looking for coffee.
I can do like lunch break streams at 2 p.m. Actually, that's what I did today for 11:11.
Yeah, I'll watch any PSVR. I can't, no matter how much I love you, Prophet. I love all you guys. But if you're playing a regular game, unless it's something like, that I'm really interested in, like you'll find me. It doesn't matter who they are. If it's a PSVR game, you'll see me. You'd be like one person watching, and I will be that one person. Because I just love PSVR that much. I like all games, though. Don't get me wrong.
I don't. Just PSVR.
No, I like all games. Whatever.
Dude, I wish I wish I could I wish I could hit pause on my life for. I want to say a week, but really, if I only had a week, I'd get caught up on like the Mage's Tale review and stuff like that. But if I had like a month, man, I would just I'd put pause on my entire life and just go back and play through like every TurboGrafx and PC Engine game that I have, and like no one would hear from me for like 3 weeks. It would be amazing. I'd come back very well rested and humming like chip tunes in my head and stuff. It'd be amazing. So, but back to the topic at hand.
Virtual reality. I think for me personally, it's a kind of like a wait for a sale kind of deal.
And I would agree with that. With the pricing the way it is, like it's steep for what it is for sure. I like the game, but I would say wait for a sale also.
And we haven't heard it all. Like we're pretty certain. I don't know. Did you guys beat it?
I haven't beaten it yet.
Because it's it's got it's 2 hours and 20 minutes on HLTB. So if you look it up to see how long it is to beat, 2 hours and 20 minutes. That's what everyone's played. And if that is the case, if there's no extra content on PSVR, then I will say wait for a sale. I'm really enjoying what's happening so far. With the whole Inception thing, with realities inside of realities and stuff. And I love just like ripping that off, and suddenly you're like in the place that you just were, and you almost forgot where that was, and so it's a little bit jarring, which is actually the same feeling I get when I like have a marathon session of like Resident Evil, and I'm like, oh right, no, this is what my apartment looks like. I forgot. So it's. But for $20, like if it's only 2 hours long, I'm having a hard time recommending it.
And if you're really interested in it and you happen to have like an Oculus Go or something, it's not that much improved gameplay wise on the PSVR. Really, there's no new mechanics. You just have an extra controller and it's tracked in 6 degrees of freedom, but you don't really need it for this game. Right. The Go controller works just fine, and it's cheaper on Go. It looks pretty much just as good because it's a really simplistic game that came from mobile anyways. So, you could save yourself a few bucks and just play it on there, or wait for a sale.
The no turn buttons, the teleport only. It's like, come on, man.
I'm okay with teleport only, But yeah, the fact that there's no turn buttons, I'm just like, because
I did think that was weird. Yeah.
And then you have to triple click the move button to to do a 180. I'm like, triple click.
Honestly, I was glad that there was just something that I could do to like move some kind of way.
Yeah, it's a weird one for sure. Dave, I think we need to talk about 11-11.
I think we should. So I played that for about 45 minutes on my lunch break earlier, and then Polish Paul spoiled the ending for me in our Twitter chat. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate it.
Polish Paul is dead to me.
Let everybody know. Let everybody know. There's a game that came out today called 11-11, and it's a sci-fi game. And I don't know if anybody's played
sci-fi.
Right. Yeah, I've actually played. Have you ever played a sci-fi game before?
They have other games.
They do.
Did they do the Awakenings game?
I'm not sure. The one that I played was called Defiance. And it was based on that TV show, which they actually remastered for PS4. And it was actually
was that the thing where they had like a tie-in where like stuff would happen in the game to go along with the show as it was happening or stuff like that?
Right. And real quick, some shout-outs.
Donations.
Joel Salvador says, love PSVR, excited for Blood and Truth. We are going to get into Blood and Truth later on tonight. Absolutely, because I am so excited for that game. A Hobbit, GameCat, 2 donation. Thank you, sir. And then, She Who Games with her little monster cat, $25 donation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Buying a pizza. As for the Quest, considered it for Beat Saber, but Samsung 34-inch Ultra. The curved monitor. Okay, one out. Nice. Quest visuals are great. The price is too high for what it is, in my opinion. How much is the Quest?
It's $400.
It's 400? 4 or 5 for the hard drive space, right?
Yeah, well, so from what I've heard, the 64 gig is okay.
Much cheaper.
No, it's $400. With the 64 gigs, I think you're fine because most games are less than a gig, and like the top ones are like 2 or 3. So you can cram a lot on there. Although with anything like that, like a cell phone or a standalone thing, it says 64 gigs, but a decent portion of that will be the operating system.
Right.
So you'll probably get like 50 gigs out of it or something like that.
Okay, never mind. I'm not even gonna say. I thought it was like under $100, to be honest with you.
Oh,
are
for
you
real?
Fucking kidding? How could it be under $100?
I don't know.
Where do you think the technology is at this point?
I don't know. That's my bad. $400.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, how much does the go for?
It's still at $200. They didn't price it down. I thought they would knock it down once the Quest got released. But
I feel like the Go is the thing that I'll be looking to pick up at some point to be the thing that I throw in my backpack. Like if I can get for $100 eventually, like I'll just take that with me wherever I go and show it off to people.
Well, so Bryan, if I get a Quest, I'll sell you my Go for $100. No problem.
I don't know, man. I feel like it's going to
come
with.
I've done to it.
It's going to come with some Davestation DNA.
Hey, you guys can go to the buying, selling, and trading channel in the Discord and figure that out.
Real quick, and I'll sign it too.
I don't know if you guys want to go in depth on this, but Chris Bryant says, "Does Killing Floor 2 have VR support on the recent physical release?" And I believe it does. It's the double feature.
Yeah.
And not only that, but they have released a patch that has fixed all the multiplayer issues with like the stuttering graphics and stuff like that, and the not being able to turn. And apparently, it runs really smooth now. So, to be honest with you, I think Killing Floor could maybe make the next top 20 list.
Okay, so this is super important though. If I heard Chris's question correctly, he asked about Killing Floor 2, not Killing Floor Incursion. So Killing Floor 2 is non-VR. That is only on your flat screen. Incursion is the VR game, which is really strange that they bundled those together because it's like here you got one VR game, you got one non-VR game. I think it's awesome. So they'd be like, okay, if you're going to buy this anyway, then now you have a VR game. It's like, oh, if I'm sitting on VR games already in my collection, I've got Resident Evil 7, this and that. It's like then it's more incentive to buy a headset. But man, no, unfortunately, Killing Floor 2 does not have VR support. Just want to be sure we're clear about that. But that's amazing because the multiplayer patch was like something that I was looking forward to for a long time.
It looks like night and day. Like it looks very smooth. I watched Preach and Lewis Knight play it earlier, and it was like butter, man. They were having a ton of fun with it. I want to hop back in because I think I really panned it partially for that reason because it was so fun in co-op, but one person was stuck with click turning and like the jankiest stuttering.
Yeah. The gameplay of that game was so awesome. I mean, just like slicing a monster's head off and then like batting it like a baseball, like a home run derby or something. Or slicing their arms off. The gameplay is so magnificent in that game. I really like it.
I had gotten to the point where I wasn't expecting them to ever patch it because it's been so long since it came out, and there wasn't really much
like
news.
October or something, like last October. Or...
But then they were developing a new game that had some kind of like piece of the engine that they retrofitted back into Killing Floor that made it possible. So I think it's because of the new game they're developing, not because they were specifically like working on a patch for a year and a half or some shit like that. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's good
so
news.
11/11. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to change the subject.
Oh
but
yeah,
go ahead. Tell everybody about 11/11. But it did come out today.
It is the closest thing to like a sci-fi version of Invisible Hours, if you guys have played that. So the whole concept is there's these 6 storylines that are interlacing. You know, different characters meet up at certain times, but each one just shows you 11 minutes, the last 11 minutes of these people's lives on a planet that's about to be destroyed. And so you start out and you can't really do that much. They just put you in the first story and you got to play through it. And then after that, you get the ability to hop around between characters at will, rewind, fast forward, pause, zoom out to God scale, zoom back down. Or you can just follow that one character through their narrative. So there's a lot of options that remind me of Invisible Hours. But I will say the story is probably not as strong. I didn't finish it yet, but I was having a good time with it. And it's on sale for $13 instead of $20. And I think that's a pretty solid price for what it is. I liked it.
For $13, it doesn't seem too bad.
You got something?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I beat it, and I mean very, very quickly, like, you know, within 90 minutes.
90 minutes is what they've been saying, yeah.
Okay. I saw it, and as far as I know, I've seen everything there is to see. The story, I mean, I love that it's being compared to Invisible Hours because, again, it is very much, it is very similar in terms of all these
mechanically, I think as a game, it's built in a similar way. The story is not nearly as good. I'll say that.
No, but there are like you know intersecting stories and characters that like you know that you'll meet for a second in one person's story, but then of course they have their own entire story when like other things crisscross. And I like the way it's all laid out. The story is not nearly as good. In fact, it feels a little bit contrived as far as like you know sci-fi genre stuff goes.
It's still better than Eden Tomorrow. Though.
It's a
most things are better than Eden Tomorrow.
You know, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. The world, like, if you like story driven, and this is like only story driven, it's pretty neat. The only thing graphically, I think the world actually looks really cool.
The art design is good, yeah.
Right. The art design, the environment, everything feels alive. The character models are not great though. The character models look a little goofy. They've got those crazy bug eyes that like just stare at you or stare.
They're kind of childish or cartoonish or something, yeah.
Right. But everything else, like so far, the voice acting is also pretty decent. But like I said, you know, if you watch the Sci-Fi Channel, then just go ahead and get it, like, because you'll like it. But if you don't, I don't know how many people watch Sci-Fi Channel, but
it was Sci-Fi that remade Battlestar Galactica a while back, right? Because that was really good. Was that the Sci-Fi Channel?
I don't remember.
I don't know.
But definitely if you like sci-fi, it's a little on the cheesy side. It's a little whatever, but it looks cool and this sounds good and stuff.
So here's my biggest issue with it. My biggest issue is that they do like Dave said, you're given the opportunity to, very much like Invisible Hours, just hop around and go where you want to, go through doors and see what's happening at all points in the game. Unlike Invisible Hours, I mean, maybe there's stuff hidden that I haven't seen yet, but I have like hung out in a lot of places and just fast forward and rewind time and looked for things that like are off the beaten track. Like here's something that's not happening in the main story arc, and I'm just like, nope, this is just a dead world when nothing's happening. Like I'm almost like, why did you give us the option to roam around and unlink yourself from these characters if there's nothing actually happening outside of what these characters are doing?
I found myself mostly like at certain points I would think, oh, let me check in on this character's storyline at this point in time, and then just went up to the God view and like selected their icon and switched over. And then if something's happening you've already seen from a different perspective, you can just rewind or fast forward to see like what you missed or what you need to catch up on. So I think for that style it works okay, but it is pretty much just what happens in the story from different perspectives. There's no other like stuff happening down the corner or around the street or whatever. Like
Yeah.
So yeah.
And if you want to like see this game and just see it as fast as possible, just go through one character at a time, like from the main menu, and in any scenes that you've already seen because of the intersecting paths, you can like fast forward through, and then reset it to regular time after that scene's over. And like
and that's a perfectly fine way to see it too, because you get twists as you go and stuff gets revealed.
Well, and here's the fact is, you said there's twists, and I think I ruined the game for myself because at the end there is a pretty cool thing that happens that unlocks, and you get to watch like the whole thing from a new character's perspective, and like, but I ruined that for myself by going off the beaten path and like following characters into other rooms and stuff. Okay. And so I saw too much of that before I should have. And so like I'm actually going to tell you to enjoy this game in the best possible way. Just follow a character and kick back and watch for like the next 11 minutes because I feel like that's how it was designed to do it. Like there's no reason to even really interact with this world.
Yeah, it's just like the freedom to do it is cool, but I agree with you on that. Like the best way to play it is probably just sit there and play it.
Still has more in that world than Eden Tomorrow.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh man.
And a lot of people are asking us about top 10 worst game list for PSVR. Obviously, Eden Tomorrow wouldn't make the top 10 worst games, but I do want to say like that for anyone who's been suggesting that, it is in the works. And man, like the fact is like I'd like to do it sooner rather than later because I think people are buying a lot of garbage, and we want to save people money and stray them from. So sometimes people are like, oh, it's only $10 what I have to waste, and it's like not only did you just throw $10 down the drain, but you also wasted like 2 hours of your life. So expect that video sooner rather than later, hopefully sometime next week.
We typically like to keep things on the positive side and reward games for being I do. I should correct myself. Is like I like to highlight the positives instead of get all the negatives, but as a tool to save people money and steer them away from buying, I don't know, Siren.
Wait, you didn't like Siren?
It'll be a fun. I liked Siren on the PS3 when it was
me too.
Asian horror game.
I liked Siren on PS2 as well.
Yeah.
So the cynical side of me will say also, if you make a video called Top 10 Worst, or like this is the worst game in the world, you get way more clicks. YouTube like puts those videos up at the top because it knows people are tied into that like base, like, ooh, let's hate on some shit.
Well, again, this is all for, saying just because I get people that, like I said, they ask me about Siren and they're like, and I'm like, play the persistence. And they're like, what's the persistence? I'm like,
oh my God, how do you know what Siren is?
Exactly. I'm like, how do you know what Siren is, but you don't know what persistence is?
That is odd.
So it'll be a little fun project.
The other thing I want to throw in real quick before we wrap up the 11/11 thing is it originally came from like film festivals, which is kind of interesting to me, and it was much shorter at those. I think it's like 30 minutes, and that version is coming to mobile headsets at some point. But the PSVR one is the only one that has like the full 90 minutes of content. And if you are interested, the sale runs till June 6th, so you still got some time to pick it up for $13. And if you are interested, I think that's probably way better than $20, so you might as well grab it. But
for which
sure.
one?
11/11.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, please. Let me reiterate exactly what Dave just said. If you're interested in this, get it for 13 because 20 seems very, very steep for what you're getting.
Way too much. Way too much. I agree. But I love it when they do these launch day discounts.
Yeah, no, this was a smart move, man. They're going to rope a lot of people in with such a huge discount on day one.
I'm actually interested to see what everybody's been picking up from the sale that's going on. Like, did you get Zing?
Another huge one.
Did you get Kona? Did you get Star Trek? Did you get what was the other one? Catch and Release.
There's so many of them.
And
Chorix.
And did you like it?
Chorix for $2.
Lil and the Game Cat would love it right now, just for saying.
So here's the thing: when Des and I decided we were going to talk about the PlayStation sale for yesterday's viewer takeover, the reason we decided to do that was because Chorix was on such a deep sale for $2, and it was like it never goes on sale. It's very infrequently at least, and never that much. And it's a great little game, and it's awesome in multiplayer. And it's just I don't know. I should be playing the trailer right now, but I didn't have it ready for. But Chorix is a great game, and that's the reason we decided to do the viewer takeover episode about discounts, and we forgot to mention it. And I was like, oh crap, man! Like everybody in the comments was like, what about Chorix? And I was like, that's why we decided to do the episode. I totally forgot. So yeah, definitely buy Chorix. It's great. Guys, so something that I've been playing that I want to give another shout out, especially like when we talk about rewarding developers who are doing awesome things, is real quick. I know it's gonna be the wrong size, but this is, oh yeah, wicked wrong size. Man, I really got to work on this whole
The trials of OBS.
right?
Every time.
There we go. I learned how to fix it on the fly. That's nice. So it's so this is Port Ambush, the update for Crisis Brigade. It basically doubled the size of the game. It basically so added a whole new level, double size of the game, but also added a shooting range and like all these improvements. They added this game over screen, which if you've ever played the game, that you know how important that is and how desperately it was needed. Also added some really annoying voiceovers, but the fact is it was $6. And then it was on sale during the sale, but then they cut the sale for this game specifically, and now it's $8. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because they gave us a chance, right? They gave us a chance to buy it at the old price with the new content. And the fact that they're teasing that level 3 is coming soon, I want to tell everybody, buy this game while it's $8, because it's still an amazing deal. And when they add that next level, you better believe that they're going to tack another $2 or $3 onto it. Yeah. So
the only thing
keep
to
that in
mention
mind.
that I think you kind of skimmed over there, you said it was improved in a lot of ways and they added new content, but they made the game much harder. Much, much harder. And if you've played it prior to the patch, you'll know it was already pretty goddamn hard. So there's a lot more like ducking and crouching and dodging required now.
Right.
And like in the very first scene of the very first stage, like imagine Time Crisis if there were a bunch of dudes all shooting at you as soon as you spawn in and you don't know where your cover is and you die immediately. And then you got to figure it out each time. So
Yeah.
I still love the game, but I feel like they went a little too heavy-handed on the increased difficulty there, especially because the new stage is locked behind a $50,000 point high score.
Yeah.
Which is harder to get than it ever was before. So that's kind of it's sort of a trade-off. I feel like I like playing it less than I used to, but I want to get to that new stage. So just a warning for people out there. I don't know.
I'm just going to reiterate what the developer said. They said it's not more difficult. They said it's just different. And once I played for a significant amount of time, I do have to agree with them because it, like you said, it requires more popping in and out of cover. And so if
once you retrained yourself to play the game you'd already been playing for a while, which that devs can't expect that out of people without them getting frustrated, I think. I got frustrated.
I got really frustrated. Really. And you can hear more about my frustrating story on an upcoming episode of something very soon. But that was my Port Ambush push. You definitely want to support Sumo Lab because they are making very inexpensive PlayStation VR games that are awesome. Much better than Trainer VR, in my humble opinion. What else have we been playing?
So let's see. Oh God. I don't even want to talk about Darkness Roller Coaster anymore.
I think everybody in the chat's just telling me I suck at
Crisis. I gotta give the Darkness Roller Coaster devs a little credit. They've patched the game 4 times in like 3 weeks, and the patch notes are huge. Still kind of broken and messed up though, and don't buy it. But so speaking of some issues, I guess you guys want to touch base on Firewall real quick.
I knew you were going to go there. That's a good segue, man.
It's
Patches
unfortunate.
That break stuff.
Firewall is, in my opinion, one of the best PlayStation VR games, and when it works, it's amazing. And I had been playing all week to lead up. I had taken a break from it, and then I had jumped back in. I've already got over 320 hours in the game. Which I don't think, that's not even close to any other VR game I've played.
Not even Catch and Release?
No, I have like
just playing with you,
16 hours, which is actually pretty good for that game.
Yeah, right? That's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it took me like 14 hours to beat it or to catch the boss fish, and there's still stuff to do. So that's why I love that game so much. But essentially, they had the Operation Nightfall update. And man, I feel really bad for these guys because it just went lopsided fast. And
it went pear-shaped? Did it go pear-shaped?
Yeah, it went pear-shaped.
Bunch of useless tossers.
Yeah, but so they're still apparently having issues. When I went to boot it up, it was blue screening over and over. I managed to get into a group with some of my buddies and do a private match. Big shout out to Killatrix. That's my dude. Make sure you go check him out. He streams Firewall like every day, and he's really good. And
he streamed 9 hours when the patch
9 hours that day.
And he played 3 rounds. 3 rounds. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah. But also like Buffy, Choppa, Chirp, all those great peeps out there. The Firewall Assassins, they're great people. Lots of fun to play with, and we really, I don't know what's going on with this game, man. I mean, they keep doing stuff to update it, and it keeps having these big issues, and that's literally, to me, it's just this game is so important and so big to have these kinds of issues. It's really not good.
Well, especially on the same day that you introduce a paid season pass thing, and with that update, you break the entire game. What I'm going to say is, if half the people are blue screening and the only way they can play is on an alternate account at level 1, first of all, that's a huge pain in the ass. Squads have been broken ever since they added the patch and are still broken right now. I think the only way you can play public is if you do solo rounds, which, I mean, most people, I think, have a few people they like to play with and want to do squads. But the blue screen issue is fixed now, so that's good. But that's only one of the issues. Also, the characters all got their HP buffed accidentally. They say, "Oh, we didn't mean for that to happen." But the time to down somebody is a lot higher than it used to be. So that's something they're working on too, but they haven't fixed yet. And there's just a lot of little bugs beyond the matchmaking and beyond that. So they still got a long way to go as far as addressing what they broke in the update. But the UI looks slick, I guess. I mean,
Kevin, Kev Grant, I feel bad for every developer that has some kind of issues at launch or something. So when I say that, I mean, you can apply that to anybody whose game has major issues. For me,
I mean, it's only fair to say.
I'm a sympathetic person.
It's only fair to say we all spent $40 to get this game at launch. Most of us, a lot of us been playing it. I play it whenever possible. I know most people have been playing it nonstop for the last 9 months. But here they are. They could have just been like, here's more cosmetic stuff. Here's more stuff we're going to charge for. But instead, they overhauled the UI, which they didn't have to do. They gave us a new map, which they didn't have to do. Another new map is coming, which they didn't have to do. Right? It's like they've got a hit on their hands, and they just keep giving us free stuff. And the fact is like, in doing so, something went horribly wrong that they didn't anticipate. And it's like, dude, if you don't think that they are having nothing but sleepless hours over there until this thing is fixed, then you're absolutely out of your fucking minds. I do feel bad for them. They tried to give us more stuff for free, and they fucked up a very successful game, and they're tirelessly working until they get it fixed. So it sucks for the players, but man, they're working on it.
It does. And, I tell you what, I feel bad for them, but the ones I really feel bad for are the hardcore players that love that game to death and play it every single day.
And who already spent $10 hoping to hop into this brand new challenge system and stuff, and then couldn't.
I mean, I spent the look, man. I know you hate the microtransactions. And stuff.
No, I'm not trying to get on that horse right now.
No, I know. I don't either.
Because they actually spent money on it. I'm not going to spend money on it.
I definitely agree that a lot of that is not fair to them, and they should be refunded or something. But when it comes to that when it comes to that the DLC stuff that they have, those operations, they give you free operation tasks or whatever that you can do for rewards. They also have some that you can do and get other rewards, and they show you what the rewards are. So it's not a random loot box kind of thing. Everything they've done is kind of similar. It's just been revamped to a new level. But, I know people don't like microtransactions. I don't either. But if you're going to do them, if they're cosmetic only, which these are, the level is free.
Well, hold on. There's some strong speculation that the second skill that's going to be locked behind the paywall of the season pass is self-revive.
I don't know. I hope not.
Even Petrifying Pumpkins, dude. Even Petrifying Pumpkins is hardcore saying this is it. So if I don't trust anybody as far as rumors go, he's right a lot of the time.
So here's the thing: speculation.
I'm going to be upset about that.
I can't get mad about speculation.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not mad now. I'm saying if that happens, then I'll be pissed.
Yeah,
That's what
well,
I'm saying.
there's a lot of things that could happen that I'd be pissed about, but
Well, it's
until
definitely
they do,
feasible because they've already locked skills and contractors behind the thing anyways. So
Ye-
just because the first one is useless and nobody cares about it doesn't mean the second one will be.
let's keep.
Well, let me go ahead and say the Ruby contractor, that's not useless. People that want to grind, like I've got 130,000 crypto right now, and I would want to play that if I wanted to just grind that character to unlock more weapons, more.
Well,
whatever.
okay, in that case, then it's more against your argument that everything's cosmetic. Because if you're saying, oh, it's all just cosmetic, but then you say, oh, that contractor skill that's locked behind it is something I would want to use.
But
Then
what?
it's not like Fortnite.
But I don't need it though. I mean, it's
Well,
not
okay.
it's not gonna affect my advantage on the game. Is what I'm saying. Like it's
Well, yeah.
it's not a pay to win model where
But it's
not
something
like
you
the
want to
game.
pay for, be honest.
now if that thing is actually a self revive and that's locked behind paying for it, I really don't see that happening. But if it is, then I'm completely wrong.
I mean, we all saw the end of that trailer, dude. What is that? If it's not a zombies
know.
mode, what is that?
It's obviously self revive, but
Yeah,
First
it
Contact
is.
has not said the word self revive. Period. I mean, for any reason whatsoever, we've all been like, okay,
Yeah, they just
this is what
showed
it is, and
to
we've
us to
taken
get
and we've taken
our
it as
mouths
truth.
watering or whatever.
Yeah. So
What's up, Seven? Yeah, he says Seven says even if the skill sucks, I don't think they should lock the skills with a paywall. You can buy other contractor skills with crypto. That's true. So that's one thing that I defended at first that sounds like it's been changed, which is, you know, you could buy these contractors, but if you didn't buy them, you could use the in-game currency to unlock the skill for it and then apply it to whoever. And apparently they're taking that away or something. I don't know.
Well, for these ones in the season pass, the way it works is you can't do that until the season's over. So you got to wait a couple months, essentially.
Yeah. I can't wait to talk about Blood and Truth. So many people are mentioning it, and I'm so excited for that game. But yeah, I mean, you know, I hope they get this stuff sorted. And like I said, you know, it's really unfortunate for everybody here because that game is selling PSVRs. That game is something that we were proud of at one point for PSVR, and now, you know, to when we were streaming it on the channel and it's having all these issues, like it didn't feel good. Because it is a really fun game. It's one of my favorites when it's working properly. And these updates have been hit or miss.
The last thing I'll say, too, is that these updates are to add stuff that people didn't specifically ask for, like a battle pass. And all that kind of shit, extra cosmetics to unlock and challenges. And I will say some of the challenges that I've heard behind the battle pass are like knock on 128 different doors.
Yeah.
Which is such a grindy, stupid fucking... Like, it's not even fun to do that. You just have to do
That
it.
sounds fun
I
to
was
me.
I was thinking
I don't know.
that's kind of fun.
I think that's kind of stupid.
I don't know.
The other ones are like get 8 headshots with the shittiest pistol, which means you can't load out with revive pistol. You got to use the crappy pistol and get 8 headshots with it.
You know, I compared it a lot to... I know...
I don't know.
I know we kind of already talked about this, Dave, but, you know, I compared it to, like, trophy hunting. Like, it's...
You don't have to pay for trophy hunting, man.
But you don't need to do this. Like, you don't need to do this at all.
I don't have to pay for the thing. Yeah, like I don't have to pay for those if I don't want to.
I'm not paying. I'm not paying for the battle pass, and I am not enjoying this. I'm not enjoying this any less than anyone else. Period. And that's how I look at it. You know, I understand everybody wants the game to work, but man, I think we are.
I think what I'm saying is, legitimate arguments is make the game work, fix the host migration issue.
That'll never
you know,
fixed.
Before you start skimming off the top from your hardcore players and making extra cash from people you know are going to pay for it, satisfy the people who want to play your game and don't want to put up with all the bullshit. Because everybody online is always like, oh, it's like a waiting room simulator. I played 5 minutes over like 45 minutes.
No, it's true.
Just sitting in lobbies. And if they don't fix that kind of stuff, they can't keep getting away with charging $10 for a game-breaking update that, you know, won't even let you get into your account.
But you're saying that under the assumption that they knew this was going to break the game when they patched it. Like that's totally unfair.
If your focus is on front loading all this stuff, like the UI is designed now around showing you the battle pass stuff, showing you that stuff you can buy, the challenges and all that stuff too. And so if that's where your focus is on redesigning and changing stuff, and you're not focused on the basic integral issues that people have, maybe wait for those updates, like till the game is solid. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree that there should be a focus on some of these little things. There also I hear that they're a small team. I don't know, but they really should work on just getting the game to run as solid as possible first. That should be, in my opinion, the priority instead of
getting into lobbies and
that should absolutely be the priority. I don't mind any of the stuff they're doing. The only problem with it is that the game has other issues. Like that's literally the problem here, is that this game has issues that need to be fixed, and they're releasing DLC and stuff, which I don't mind the DLC stuff they're doing, but it does matter when there's other things that need to be addressed first, for sure.
that have been there since launch and people have been complaining about since day one.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, how much Firewall do you play? Because I played all of last week. I mean,
40. I don't know.
I mean, I played all last week, and I really didn't run into that many issues. And
Well, were you playing with people you knew? Were you playing in a squad with people you knew? Because usually that's how I play, and I don't see those issues the same way that people who don't have a dedicated squad.
I played both.
Okay.
I played both in the public. The only problem was that they changed they changed it so that if you're level 50 or whatever, you go against other level 50s. And so when I'm going into the public, I'm getting stuck with people that are like new and stuff like that I really can't gel with, and I'm going against like Olympic Firewall teams and getting rocked. I liked, but again, I think that was something that people maybe complained about or something, where it was like, well, if I'm level 1, I don't want to be up against level 50, which is fine. But now when I try to play public, it's a little bit harder. So if you don't have a squad, if you're high level and you don't have a squad, it's a little bit tougher. I did have some good luck, but in terms of connection, stuff like that, I really didn't have that many issues. There was I don't know, I can't even remember if there was a host migration issue. I know it happens though. I know it exists. Just because I don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. But the game, the whole week leading up to it was fine for me.
Yeah, and I'll always be a one, honestly, who said I've always had more fun with Firewall than I have had frustration in the past. Like, it's a really cool game once you get a squad going and you just keep getting in rounds against the same people, and it's like, oh, they won last time, but we're going to get them this time, And just like, for the most part, it's been pretty smooth. But I have always seen the issues that people complain about and just sort of overlooked them because I'm hanging out with friends playing a game, whatever. And so if we get disconnected a couple times, we just get on the party chat and say, hey, I'm going to set up a new game. Let's go. It takes a few seconds.
All right. Retro Gamer wants to hear Bryan talk more.
Okay. Sorry.
No, listen. No. My final word on Firewall's update is that everybody's going to have complaints and everybody's going to want certain things. Everybody's going to be like, we want host migration. We want this. We want that. How long did we ask Sony to be able to change our fucking PlayStation Network names? 10 years.
Yeah.
Right. Some shit just can't be done. Right. So it's like, yeah, we're asking for it, but doesn't mean it's going to happen. Right. That's the expectation that I feel like is happening in a lot of these conversations where you're saying, well, why isn't this getting taken care of? Some shit's just not on. Some shit's just not being planned on happening because like you kind of said already, it's not that bad. If it happens, it's like, all right, takes a couple seconds, jump back in, everything's fine. Right. So it's like, are they looking at it and going, should this be our priority if it's going to take tens of thousands of dollars to fix and all these man hours that could be doing, developing new levels and something like to work on something that might not even be possible, right? So like, I kind of, at this point, I don't expect to see any of those things happen for Firewall. I feel like Firewall 2 is when you'll see host migrations and all the stuff that you're looking for. Yeah. And it'll be on PSVR 2 and look beautiful, and we'll have big open worlds and like zombie modes and like, all the different things we're looking for. I don't think, I've been asking for a deathmatch mode.
We're not
right? Exactly. Yeah. So like, just because you're asking for it doesn't mean it's gonna happen. So like, so to say, why are we focusing on this instead of that? Well, because their focus is somewhere else, and maybe they know more than we do about how to program games.
And
I mean, the only thing I'll say is host migration and dedicated servers are one thing, and they would help a lot. But there's still a lot of weird disconnect and network issues that aren't even probably. That could be tweaked or fixed, I assume, within the current system that haven't been. So that's the only thing I would say.
Think you know how you fix host migration, in my opinion. If you're the host and you quit, then you lose like 1 million XP or some not 1 million, but
no, a million sounds good.
like thousands of XP, like hours that you spent getting that XP is taken away because some guy killed you and you don't like it, and then you quit and ruin the game for everybody.
The other solution is just to hire Reggie Strange to do all of your programming.
That's true. If you had Reggie Strange, you'd go. But in my opinion, that's how you without actually having dedicated servers. Like I said, if I've over 300 something hours, I know these problems exist, but just never really had them. So I think they need tweaks. They need little this, that. But and somebody that I was playing with mentioned, this was a random for playing public, was like, why don't they just do Firewall 2? And I'm like, that's not a bad idea. Like if you have this working game that is pretty fun and everything, and instead of trying to change it, it's like a perfectionist. It's like the curse of the perfectionist, where you have a painting and then you keep adding to that painting and you keep adding to that painting, and eventually you ruin the painting. They need to just kind of chill out a little bit and just maybe think about just doing a sequel or something. Like
it's been out for 9 months. You ready for the sequel?
No, I'm not ready for a sequel, but I think adding a couple maps here and there and stuff. But what they've done though, and especially the way it was executed, I mean, sequel sounds pretty good at this point.
Which is a perfect transition. It's not. It's a horrible transition.
The big winner of this week.
Firewall.
But that's all.
I think people are tired of us.
Yeah,
I'm tired of us.
Yeah.
No, but so let's talk about the big winner this week.
Winner.
Oh, hey.
Wrong trailer dinner, but whatever, man. Like it's this is the Japanese trailer, but we'll take it, man. This is everybody's golf. Obviously, last week I was playing this like all week and I couldn't talk about it, and it was like, man, I just wanted to talk about it so very much, especially on last week's show. And now that we've all played it, hopefully everyone's played it, man, I cannot wait to hear your impressions. What are we thinking about this one?
So I am having a great. Oh, go! You started first.
No, okay. Wait, have you not finished it yet?
Oh yeah, I've played all the holes.
Okay.
Wait. Finish in terms of like you ranked up.
I'm not maximum rank yet. No,
that's what I'm asking what AJ means.
I have clubs to unlock, but
so I got one more pair of clubs. I played through all the holes, unlocked all the levels, unlocked everything. With this game, we're gonna get to the little issues with it. Obviously, it needs could use some multiplayer, but this game is absolutely fantastic, man. I mean, the gameplay of it is like swinging the club feels so good. It's literally the same controls as it was from the very beginning, except this time you have a move controller and you're actually swinging the club. But you can change your stance to be like move to the left, move to the right a little bit. It's got the meters for you. Everything is there. That has always been there, except you're physically swinging the club, and it feels so damn good. And my other favorite thing is the levels. Seaside is like a dream come true for me, man. Like that level, being on the beach, and I even took a screenshot and posted on Twitter because I love the basics of the game, what it got right, and we'll get into the other stuff later. But I love the gameplay, and I love the 3 courses. It looks fantastic.
It's beautiful, especially like if you happen to get lucky enough to get a thunderstorm on Seaside. Oh my god, I was loving that. Like the weather effects are actually pretty good in terms of like sound design, and once the rain starts coming down and it gets really windy, you see all kinds of stuff. I think Dino is a pretty exciting one too, because I was a Jurassic Park kid. The 3rd course is like a dinosaur world. And there's like compact Nathosauruses, like the little tiny guys running around everywhere when you hit the ball. And there's cool touches like that. Just like leaves landing on the course when you're playing, it's beautiful. I really like it.
I just like that you used the full word for compies, because Jurassic Park taught me one thing. Those are fucking compies.
Compies.
Yeah.
Well, besides being a Jurassic Park kid, I was also just into like reading about dinosaurs, and I had books. And so I was like, that's a compact Nathosaurus.
Yeah.
People were kind of ribbing me on my stream when I got to the dinosaur level. They were like, oh, this is the Dave that talks about dinosaurs.
You do seem, you could probably host a show about dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah. Give me an option. Somebody out there, if you're a TV producer or something. Dave talks dinos.
Brian?
I don't think I'd watch that now.
No, I
Well,
mean,
I think he was asking how you feel about the game.
I'm talking
I'll
about the
talk
game.
more about how I feel about the game.
I was just trying to picture it in my head. Dave talking
it's
about
not as
dinosaurs.
entertaining
Yeah.
as Dave watch a random Japanese game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a much similar experience to AJ. I really liked it for what's there. I'm not too worried about the amount of content. I feel like the way they have it set up doesn't make sense at first, where you're playing those like random 3 holes, and then you got to play the front 9 and the back 9, and then you unlock 18 holes.
Yeah.
But it does add a little bit of game time, and it helps you like get accustomed to the mechanics in sort of like a low stakes way, where you're just like, I'll just play a couple random holes. And actually, a couple times I've hopped in for those 3-round random ones just because it's kind of fun to just play for 10 minutes and hop back out.
Yeah.
I haven't unlocked everything. Mostly I'm upset I don't have Steve. Did you guys get Steve? Because I pre-ordered and they said I would have Steve as a caddy.
Did you go to the store?
I did go to the store. It's not in the store.
Not there.
You can't get to it from in the game.
I don't really care about Steve very much, to be honest with you.
Well, okay, that's your opinion. I want to have Steve because I'm tired of these ladies talking.
I didn't even
Steve
change.
is better.
Somebody
has
has
the caddy.
Somebody has Steve though. I know.
Yeah, I've seen people with Steve.
It's out there.
Preacher has Steve.
What region is he in?
So
I think it's a European.
Maybe that's
Yeah.
it. So it's just not out here yet. Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But you're supposed to get it with pre-order, so we'll see.
Well, you get it
yeah.
with you get it because you pre-ordered. Not they didn't say specifically you'll get it at
I
launch,
guess.
right?
I mean, I don't know why Europe would have it. We don't. I think they messed up a little bit. But that's
I'm
fine.
sure that happened. Yeah.
The only reason I want them is because the caddies can be kind of annoying and repetitive. And if you're trying to make a shot, they say something the exact time when you're shooting, like every fucking time. They're like, "Oh, a little to the left." I'm like, God damn it, I was shooting. Like, shut up.
I've seen a lot of people complain about the caddies, and it seems like people complain a lot about the caddies at the beginning of the game, because at the beginning, like when you're learning how to swing and learning how to play the game, and like you're missing a lot of shots and just like slicing everything or hooking, it's like it's more frustrating when somebody's like talking to you about how you're playing when you're not doing well. But when you're doing well, suddenly you don't care about the caddies at all. You're like, oh, this is great, there's somebody here telling me how great at this I am. So like I don't see that.
I just hate when they tell you how nice a shot you made and then it lands in the bunker, and right when it lands, they're like, oh no,
oops, I was wrong.
They're like, wow, incredible, but oh no.
If you actually get a good shot or whatever, it actually tells you again afterward in like another letter, but it doesn't have like the rainbow color letter. You literally it'll say nice shot every time you just hit the crap out of it. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. I think I don't have a lot of complaints about this game. Obviously it would be better with multiplayer, like any form of multiplayer, even the thing that gets me is that we knew from the get-go that this was going to be single player. I'm like, and so I kind of set my expectations, and then when I started playing the game, I had to like reset my expectations even lower, because all I wanted to do was get out there and like compete with somebody, like anybody, not like a person, just like, hey, give me these different, because I've played
AI
pretty much everybody's golf game or every Hot Shots golf game there is, and the best part about it is like just finding a new character that challenges you. You have to beat them, and then you unlock that character. Like there's like this whole like competition thing, and it's like I so many people have said, well, that's not real golf. You're out there by yourself in real golf. And I was like, well, yeah, but this isn't real golf. No matter how much VR is, kind of like pushes us towards the simulation realm, we're still always playing a video game. And the fact that people forget that is like mind-boggling. I want I want that instant replay view when you hit the ball. Like the second I hit the ball, I want there to be a camera that follows the ball, just like the old games, to the landing spot. Right. So I'm not just standing there going, I wonder what's happening 200 yards away.
That is kind
the
of
replay. I totally agree. I will say that the replay system and the zoom out does look pretty good though, but absolutely number one preference would be following the ball when you hit it would be just so cool, because you're just like, I'm flying. And
it should be an option.
The biggest thing I gotta agree with though, we already knew there was no multiplayer, and that game could really use some multiplayer to give it lots of replay value. I really hope they add like some kind of multiplayer patch or something. But even more importantly to me, it's like you said, there's no AI to go against. There's no tournament mode. There's no nothing like that. And that's really what should be there, because I enjoy the gameplay itself. But the thing that makes me want to like keep playing it would be, some kind of tournament mode and multiplayer. Yeah. Like and plus it gives you a break. It gives you a break from swinging to wait and watch them swing or go, and then you can see what they did, and then either do that or don't do what they did, and that's like classic thing. So anybody that's a big fan of the real Everybody's Golf series, well, I shouldn't say the real one, but the main like flat screen one, like it's missing stuff. I want to unlock characters. I don't want to unlock new caddies and caddy skins. I want to unlock new characters to play as. I want to unlock like new levels, all this stuff.
Well, you did have to unlock the new levels, just to throw that out there. What I'll say is I have a little bit of a different perspective. I've always liked Everybody's Golf, but I've only ever really just played it like kind of for fun, like with friends who were sitting in the room with me. Never a tournament, never like against AI, never going through unlocking and grinding. I got the most recent flat screen Everybody's Golf, and I just couldn't get into the grind that it took to get everything. And it was like harder than I expected it to be against AI. And so that kind of stuff turned me off of the flat screen Everybody's Golf in the most recent version. Whereas in this one, I feel like it's a lot more peaceful and like a cool experience that's a little different. And my impetus to play again and, keep going back is that I fucking suck at the game. I'm so bad. I'm always like 14 over par at the end of a 9-hole thing or something like that. Or maybe an 18-hole thing. But anyways, I'm really, really bad. And so I just want to play and get better. And I feel like people said, real life golf isn't really a competition against other people. It is like a competition against yourself. And there is I think there's some weight to that. Like I like playing it that way.
There is.
I don't personally mind the lack of the multiplayer stuff, but I know I'm in the minority there.
Man.
I do think for $30, what's there is pretty robust and pretty fun and definitely worth.
I love what it has, except for the whole summer lesson thing.
Oh God, those scenes are so weird.
I really wish, the going to the spots and looking at the view and stuff is great. It is a really pretty game, so it's like you want to do this,
sure.
But the whole thing with like the caddy and the relationship and kind of deal, like it's like I don't really want. I would have rather just been able to just walk around the thing rather than like if there's one thing like instead of doing those, they put a lot of work into that, like clearly, and it's like, man, I really wish you would have just maybe just let us walk around or drive a golf cart or something. But
yeah,
Paul's catching flack now real quick. He's catching flack for having spoiled that game for me. They're explaining to him.
Good.
Everybody, no, it's fine. He spoiled it to him in private. It was
private,
his review,
but I'm making public the fact that he did spoil it privately.
Yeah, that was like the whole theme of the intro of the thing. But
shout out to
the Game Cat.
Thank you so much.
Game Cats Unite.
Thanks, Chats. Right. We appreciate you very much.
Absolutely. United we stand.
So I don't know. I'm trying to think about like all the stuff that I want from Everybody's Golf. Like for $30, I think we got an amazing game. For anyone who's not getting it because there's no multiplayer, I'm like, like
just get it.
Well, no, it's good that they're realizing that there's something very important there that they wanted that they're not going to enjoy the game without. So I'm fine with that. But
I think there are a lot of people who think they know what they will or won't enjoy a game with or without.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say people don't know what they're talking about, but to some degree, like, you can have this perspective about like, oh, if this game doesn't have multiplayer, I will just not even be interested in it at all.
No aim
and it's
support.
Like, if you played it, it's the no aim support. It's the no move, no buy thing.
Yeah.
Where like Space Junkies, nobody bought Space Junkies, even though it was a solid game. And then they added move, and everybody's like, oh, this is so great. But it played just fine without it. It was a perfectly solid game.
It did, but to be fair, it's much better with the moves.
It's more fun.
It's much better with the moves. I don't blame people. My buddy who doesn't have VR or play VR, he's always talking about like, he wants the most immersive thing. And that doesn't always right. And that's but those are the people that we're trying to sell stuff to. It's not, we've already, bought everything. And real quick, shout out to my dude Delirium Drew, the Game Cat. He says, cheers to the best PSVR community on the internet. Thank you, sir.
That I agree.
Yeah, I'll back up that statement for sure.
It is the best.
Yeah.
But just so I'm saying people have preconceived ideas about what is acceptable and not acceptable on VR.
Yeah.
And they purchase based on that, which is fine a lot of the time, but to shit on a game and say this is a waste because it doesn't have multiplayer, like you should try it because it's really solid, it's really fun. I like
Yeah.
it. I think it's worth
No,
$30. So
yeah,
even
is
without
there-
multiplayer, it's not a wash. It's not like unacceptable as a game.
Right.
It's still good. It's just disappointing.
Right.
Which is
Well,
like-
disappointing is, it is a
The
little
game's not
disappointing.
disappointing, but that
Right.
feature,
Right.
Yeah.
Missing the stuff that's missing is disappointing, but what's there is fantastic, and I do not
Yes.
regret spending my $30 on it one bit,
not
because it's just quick, name another golf game in VR. Is there one? I don't even-
100-foot robot golf.
Oh God, don't even. Oh,
That's the only
I'm
one.
like,
Well, also,
come on.
Carnival Games has a mini golf.
No, it's terrible.
And there's
It's
also
absolutely
there's also Infinite
garbage.
Mini Golf by
There's-
garbage.
yeah.
by
Everything
Well,
you guys
okay,
are naming
you said
is
name them. You didn't say name
garbage.
ones that aren't garbage.
Yeah.
You're just shouting garbage every time we answer your question.
Also, AJ, you're shouting a lot, man. You got to turn that mic down a little.
I'm sorry.
It's
I'm sorry.
garbage.
I'm just. I really like golf and video games. It's really the only. I do like. It's just video game golf is something I've always liked, and I've been waiting for a golf game for a long time. So I'm really happy about everybody's golf, and was really pissed at those other games because I was like, oh my god, a golf game. Oh wait, you can't. You can only use the DualShock, or it's just bad or something like.
Yeah, and, here's the thing though. It's like there was a Space Junkies comparison was like understandable and stuff, but like they charge $40 for Space Junkies, right?
Oh, that's on them. No, I mean
Right.
it's just because the
So-
move to buy people. That's all I'm talking about.
So the fact is like we are very, very happy that Sony is like so heavily supporting PlayStation VR, and when they have to make compromises like this, they're like, well, we can't put the entire team on this to make it multiplayer and this and that or whatever, but they're also only charging us $30. I'm like, I think that is like such a perfect compromise. Because it was sort of like this or nothing. It's not like we were like, if we begged Sony, they were gonna like be like, okay, clap hands, go spend another 6 months and work on multiplayer and maybe an extra course or whatever. Like I think what we got was amazing for the price, and if they give us more courses and more, I'll fucking buy the more caddies.
I'll buy the
DLC.
DLC.
Give me that DLC, man.
You know what I would love to
Serve it
see?
up to
I
me.
mean, aside from like the regular stuff, like being able to free roam, the single player stuff, like different players to unlock and stuff like that. I would love to see like more themed. I loved how the courses were themed, and like the first one is like this beautiful like Zen green forest thing where it's got like Japanese maples everywhere. The second one was seaside. Third one's the dinosaur one. I want like a haunted one, like like the haunted levels from Astrobot. Like I want something like that, or like make it for the putt-putt or something, like an animal safari kind of thing. But also somebody mentioned seeing the rabbit. I don't know if you in the chat or if you guys did. Did you ever spot the rabbit at all
I
in
saw
the game?
like a creature running full speed towards gamer tag,
Yes.
but it looked like a beaver or something. He thought it was a beaver. It just like, and then it ran past him.
Yeah,
So that was the rabbit.
I was hoping there was more. I haven't spotted anything, but next playthrough, that's one thing I'm going to be doing is looking around to see if I can trigger anything else. Because I thought I would be able to trigger like that compy or whatever it's called.
They move around. The compies do run around and follow
Yeah.
the ball and stuff, I think.
I couldn't believe how big some of the dinosaurs were. Like, the sense of scale in VR. Was it T-Rex? Is that the right name for
The T-Rex? Yeah, it's still
Tyrannosaurus
T-Rex.
Rex?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't.
Although we don't
Brontosaurus
have
look great.
brontosauruses anymore. They're now apatosauruses,
This-
apparently. They retired brontosaurus. So, but there's a apatosaurus.
And so begins the Davestation VR Dinosaur Podcast.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
This is what I did that people gave me a hard time about on my stream.
Oh, so now you're doing it on my stream. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's like lesson
I
has
mean-
not been learned. I see how it goes.
Good-natured hard time.
Oh man, I like dinosaurs. I like learning about dinosaurs. So,
Yeah, see? He's enjoying it.
Okay.
moving on then.
Yeah. It's
Brian. Final word on everybody's golf. Did you already say everything you need to say?
Yeah, I feel like I have a review on the channel about it. Like, it's short and concise. No, I just want more, and I think that's not a bad thing when it comes to an inexpensive VR game. You spend $30 and you play the crap out of it. I'm 9 hours in. I think I said in the review. And I'm still 2 levels from getting to the getting all my certificates. I still haven't unlocked that final set of clubs. Obviously, there's outfits you can still get, or different colored outfits for the caddies that haven't completely unlocked. But man, it's like it's not about that for me. It's like I just want to go and put my headphones on and just do 18 holes of golf and just relax and enjoy myself. I think it's awesome. And I will say if you've been playing it and your first impressions aren't so hot. Neither were mine. I think
right. First 30 minutes, I was kind of like, this is kind of like a slog. Like it was kind of like dragging a little bit.
Yeah.
But then like after
your
that,
head, it's like a song you don't think you like, but then you're singing it all the time, and you're like, why is this fucking song stuck in my head?
Please don't remind me of that song.
I actually really like this.
Yeah, it was.
Like, it gets in my head.
It was a little slow. It's a slow starting game for the first 30 minutes, maybe even I don't even think hour, but maybe 30 minutes. But like after that, like man, it's smooth sailing.
I want to ask a question to you guys that's in response to a text that no one except for me and AJ know about, and that's when I first played the game, I sent him a text and I said, "Don't worry, it wouldn't have made the top 20 list anyway."
Like, it will.
No, but
I think it will.
So that's my question: is now that we've all spent a ridiculous amount of time with this game, is this something we're going to see on the next top 20 list?
I think it's definitely worthy of putting up on the list for a vote.
It's in the conversation. It's in the conversation. I need to, the whole point of us doing that is we got to give these games time to breathe.
Yeah.
And because a lot of games I love at first, and then like later on I'm like, eh. But there's a lot of games that are going to be in the next top 20 that I'm going to fight for. And Mortal Legacy is going to be one. Red Matter is going to be one. And some of those games I feel like that got in there. I think those are going to get kicked out unless we do a top 25.
Well, I mean, I feel like the ones that you're talking about trying to get in aren't even the ones that we're going to have to shove in there. Like if Blood and Truth turns out well,
oh man,
it's going to be
5 days, guys. Sure. 5 days away. Oh, real quick, everybody interested in Blood and Truth? There is, and I think in North America, you can pre-order the game for $32 right now. I think it's usually $40, right?
Yeah.
You can pre-order the physical game on Amazon for $32 right now. So if you're interested in Blood and Truth, go hop on that immediately.
Nice.
Which I'm very interested in Blood and Truth.
Yeah, I've gone back and forth. There was periods when I was like, I don't know if I'm actually excited. People's impressions from, trade shows and like game conventions and stuff.
Right. I think
but it seems like they've turned something around, and it's like all the impressions now are really positive.
Yeah.
Right.
The last trade show talk we heard was from Nat from 7 Degrees of Gaming. Right. I'm pretty sure anyway. Who was like.
And also Gamertag didn't like it either. The same convention.
Oh, for real?
They both tried it. They both were kind of bored or didn't really enjoy it that much, if I remember.
I agree, Tristan. The Mortal Legacy patch, I don't know yet, but they've got 2 new control schemes coming out. And when that patch drops, I'm going to make that be in the top 20 list because that game deserves it, man. That game deserves it. It goes from Uncharted to a horror game. And, I've been trying not to spoil it forever, but Dave, you stopped literally right as the game gets like peaks.
Wait,
maybe I'll try it with the new control system.
Where did you stop, Dave?
He stopped right after the big worm boss or the dragon boss.
That's true. I didn't get around to
it. He stopped at the cave. So
you were like using the turret gun?
The default. Oh yeah, I used the turret gun, and then that was over.
That's where he stopped.
That's where you stopped?
Yes.
Oh man,
for now.
For
now, I mean,
wow.
I know.
Okay. That's when I was like thoroughly addicted. As soon as that happened, I was like, I'm now in till the end. And I
was still not satisfied with the controls at that point and felt like it was really clumsy. And so I wasn't like compelled to keep playing more.
Yeah.
Now that I've heard you guys say that it gets really good after that and they're adding new control schemes, I'm kind of saving it to go back and finish once I
it's gonna be
have
great.
The option to try out some different stuff and maybe play it a little more comfortably, a way that makes more sense to me.
Nice shots.
So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely never going to finish it.
I have a bad feeling about your completion of this game because I feel like if you weren't already like thoroughly engaged by that point, I love the tone shift that happens, but man, the gameplay is like I thought the gameplay from the get-go was amazing.
Well, I put it on normal. I didn't play it on easy, which was my main mistake because there's no way to switch from normal to easy. And I'm sure we've had this conversation, and Kevgrad said this too, I'm sure. But if you start a game on normal, it's just kind of not that fun hard. It's like everybody's spongy. And honestly, the hit detection, people can shoot you through cover constantly. Like if you're hiding behind a box, you're going to get shot.
Yeah.
Anyways. So
wait, what?
There's, oh yeah, dude.
What?
Yes, that happens.
Hiding behind a box is going to get shot. I mean, if you're hiding behind a wood crate, you're going to get shot.
Yeah.
Not if you're hiding behind a military ammo crate.
What if there's only wooden crates and I don't have military fucking crates laying around? I think
Well,
it seems
you
like
gotta
I expect
So
if I'm hiding behind cover, they're not
so
gonna like clip through.
real quick, I do want to get back on topic of Blood and Truth though.
Yeah,
Because, but yeah, we'll get into that. We'll revisit that once the update happens,
Someday.
and we'll see what happens. And I'm totally doing a stream of the entire game when that update drops.
And I do want to reiterate that this is not like the totally revamped control scheme.
Good.
This is not the Skyrim direct motion controls. Like this is just like a quick little, hey, we put the buttons in some different places for you guys, and let's see how that works kind of patch. You know, they made it sound like maybe that patch is coming down the road, but this is not that. So right. It's not like this. It's not like if you had major issues with the controls before, this is gonna like just solve everything. But pull your 3D rudder out and maybe give it a shot that way if it's that much of an issue.
But yeah, Kim Kizzy, we were just talking about Blood and Truth coming out next week. I'm hoping Blood and Truth does for me what GoldenEye did back in the day. It doesn't have multiplayer, obviously, but it's that action movie experience, and it's got great gameplay, everything. It completely takes advantage of being in VR. They actually showed like a story trailer, or no, they gave a little behind the scenes trailer. They've had lots of coverage on that game lately, and it's been really awesome to read about what they're going for with this game. You know, they talk about hiding behind stuff, being in VR. You don't press a button to go to cover. You make the cover. You play it how you want to play it and have that experience. And for me, like, I totally get into that. Even in Immortal Legacy, I was going complete James Bond mode, Uncharted mode, and just went balls out like crazy as much as I could. Like, you know, creeping around corners with the gun, and everything this game is going to do and what it sounds like. Not on top of it being like some AAA quality game, I think it's going to be something a lot of people want or have wanted for a while now. And
and it's going to scratch the time crisis, I think.
Right,
for a lot
right,
of people
definitely. It's a little bit different, obviously, but it's in my opinion, it's kind of almost better. Like I'm one of the like number one arcade game guys. But like this just seems more, like I said, it seems more like what GoldenEye did back in the single player campaign. How it was like they had these scenes and you went through. There's like parts of the movies and stuff, and everybody remembers GoldenEye. That was like one of the best, if not the best, one of the best N64 games.
Yeah, I think I don't know, man. Like I can't really think of any better comparison than Time Crisis. But like, I mean, this is exactly what everyone was looking for. You know, when we got the London Heist, this is just a more fleshed out version of that, like a fuller.
And honestly, I would say it's like even more because so everyone was like, we want more London Heist, but everyone was also saying we want Time Crisis, and it takes those two because London Heist wasn't really like point to point. I'm going to move there and then shoot from cover. So it's like blending those two things that everybody's wanted. And I think like the way that people responded to Robot Rescue, or was that the name of the original? Like little
Robots Rescue, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the way that people felt about that and were like clamoring for a full game.
I think people are
about to get another one of those with Blood and Truth.
Yeah, because everything they're saying about London Heist or about Blood and Truth is like basically sounds like London Heist on steroids. And London Heist was a really cool experience.
And that's how Astrobot was too. You know, they've got big studios on it, London studio and Japan studio respectively, and those are really solid Sony studios. Like I expect some good shit.
Yes, I do too.
The thing I loved about the London Heist was like, you know, it was some good moments and stuff, but like obviously then leading up to the car scene where like you're in the van and like, you know, and everything's like you can interact with everything, and then you're reloading your gun and you're dealing with the dude next to you in the car, and like it's just this high action thing where it's like it looks like there are going to be so many of those types of scenes in Blood and Truth. That like, yeah, I mean, I think AJ nailed it. Like this is GoldenEye all over again. It's just like amazing set pieces and high action scenes. I can't, without having played it, like obviously like we're relying on a lot of trailers and a lot of people's impressions from like short periods they played at trade shows. But man, like I have total faith in these guys. Like I didn't have any issues with the London Heist, and this is going to be amazing.
Yeah, just can't wait to get my hands on it.
I can't either.
Yeah.
And then let's see.
Five Nights at Freddy's coming too.
Oh, Five Nights at Freddy's. We've been talking about that a bunch on the Discord. You know, we Brian, did you get a chance to play any of the mobile? Did you get a chance to play what you were doing? Or?
I mean, to an extremely limited extent. So here's the thing. I was like, okay, I gotta get my head around the whole Five Nights at Freddy's concept, right? Like I had an idea, and I had seen, like little clips here and there, all these like jump scares and whatever. But it's also
Creepy
like
kid stuff.
It's
Creepy kid stuff.
Creepy kid stuff. I don't know if you guys can hear that. That's a siren on my end in case anyone is driving while they're listening to this. Always sirens on my end. So, but yeah.
We got to do AJ knows what's up.
Yeah, I gotta get slapped real quick. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, he rocked us that time.
He knocked us
Fucking
both
rocked
out.
us that time. Every
I don't know
time
which side
it was
I'm on.
Paper.
Hey,
Okay.
Never saw it coming.
You're on the
Never
left.
saw
That's
it
never gonna
coming.
happen again, AJ. That's never happened.
You got us both with one rock. You knocked out two scissors.
Damn right. I told you. I was setting you up. I was just setting you up
Yeah,
the
it was
entire
like it
time.
took you like 3 weeks just to get us prepped. It's
But-
a long game.
I will tell you
3
right.
weeks of coming.
I will tell you right now that every time I do rock paper scissors, I always do scissors because I forget. Even though we say rock paper scissors, I forget that there's two other options.
You
Just
just
like,
think of the last one you heard.
I just like this, like wait, how
scissors.
do
Yeah,
I
it
do
sounds
this? Yeah. So I pulled out my old iPhone. I'm still working with like a 5S or something. I forget what it is. And I downloaded Five Nights at Freddy's, the original one, for like $2 or $3. I was like, I'm gonna just play this for a little bit, and so bored. It is not. It's obviously not VR, so I was like, already got one strike against it. But man, it's like, and it's the mobile version. It's like not even like the the original one. So I don't know. I didn't really learn how to play it, but then I was like swiping from left to right to see one side of the room and the other side of the room, and then there's a door you could close and like lights you could turn on and off, and I was just like, man, oh man, like this is just not something I'm interested at all in playing on a phone. But man, once you get in there, because the tension does build, right? It's like you're checking all these security cameras, and like and it's very strange to be like, okay, well, there's animatronics here, and then the next time I came back and there's one missing, it's like, okay, well, that one must be on his way to kill me, I guess. The fundamentals of Five Nights is like, don't come to me for that shit. I'm totally clueless. But I understand where it was going. For the limited amount of time I was playing, I was like, okay, I gotta track these things, and it's a little bit night trap, and it's a little bit, touch and swipey and all the sorts of like mobile shit, but it still had me holding my breath, knowing that something was going to jump out and scare me. And I was like, that's cool. That's all I need to know. Like I'm ready to do this in VR, because nothing translates better to VR than jump scares. So I'm totally down. I think they're going to nail the atmosphere with this one without even having played it.
That sounds cool. Sadly, what I've been hearing about the lore and everything, because I was really excited to hear like the backstories of all the animatronics and how they got possessed, like somebody falling into a machine and getting killed by it and then becoming the machine. The mini games are supposed to tell those stories, but from what I've been hearing, that may not actually be the case. So I'm just excited for the scares. I think it's going to be terrifying. I've intentionally tried to avoid as many spoilers as possible. But I'm hoping, my one hope is that they do have some kind of backstory that you get to play these mini games and find out.
Well, so you've been talking about how we discussed it all in the Discord, and part of that discussion was people saying, well, there's a lot of lore, but most of it's just like thrown together nonsense that's kind of bullshit. And the guy was just like picking and choosing out of a hat, like, oh, this fan theory makes sense. Sure, that's canon.
Right.
And it's not really explained in the games. It's sort of like backstory that you talk about on forums and shit like that. So that part of it I'm not too interested in, because I feel like it won't be much in the game. And if it's sort of like slapped together, like, I don't need to get into all that. But I hope it's scary. The whole style of it doesn't really appeal to me that much.
For sure.
I'm sure it'll have jump scares and there'll be some creepy moments, but something about the look and the voiceover and just the way it's presented and stuff has always kind of turned me off. Like, it seems like one of those games that's designed for YouTubers who are super popular, who overreact to everything, and like the lights go off and they're just like screaming at the top of their lungs and everything's a big scream. That's where it made its name. And I feel like I don't like stuff that plays into that, it just seems not my bag.
The difference here is there's a lot of kids that enjoy watching that stuff. So
I know that.
So I have a couple, like one in particular where like she is excited to get it because her kids love her to play horror horror games and stuff,
Yeah.
and they love, and that's a perfect game for that. And I'm not saying that should be
for sure.
like, you know, just what a game should be, but that's like one, you know, it's something that it's like a horror game that kids can enjoy too. Is kind of how I look at it, and that's pretty cool in my opinion.
Well, yeah, no, I'm not saying anything bad about the game. I'm not saying anybody else should not be interested. I'm just saying myself, it doesn't seem like my kind of thing. So I'll check it out for sure. I'm going to play it, but
Nice,
I'm
dude.
not as excited about that as I am about Trover or Blood and Truth or even playing
Yeah.
more Everybody's Golf. Like, I'd rather play more Everybody.
We'll touch more base on Trover probably next week before it comes out. Because it comes out next? Does it come out that Thursday or Friday?
I think the date is Friday.
Okay,
It's a weird
That-
one.
I'm pretty sure.
that's definitely one.
Yeah, May 31st.
I can. That's another one that I can't. That's going to be the cherry on the top of the month.
Yeah.
You know, we've gotten one game out of the way, and that's Everybody's Golf. In 5 days, we've got Blood and Truth, and Five Nights at Freddy's, and then Trover. So man, it's
next
only just
week
begun.
next week is insane.
Yeah, and hopefully the firewall patch will be in by then. And
Yeah.
the matches and everything's fixed. Because
Yeah,
that will be cool when people get a chance to play it. Because I've been on the new map, and for everything I've said about the microtransactions and the battle pass, the new map is fun as shit. I really like the new map.
it is. I love that.
And the
state
game
time.
is great when you can get in and play it. So I
Right.
hope they get that fixed really soon.
And then, man, this summer though, in general, is crazy. Like Undead Citadel might be coming out this summer, which looks fun. It may be like I'm expecting kind of a smaller game, but of course, No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
No Man's Sky is gonna take the world by storm. I'm hoping.
Everybody's already got that game too. Or I
Right.
mean, that's part of their.
When that game gets
Finished.
VR support, it will be the most owned VR game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Other than, I don't know.
Fucking these sirens are going to be the death of me.
Oh shit.
I think that's kind of it, guys. I think that takes care of all the news for this week. I know there were a few different like little new game announcements and stuff, really small things that like I haven't had a chance to check out, so I'm not really prepared to talk about those things. Maybe I can throw a breaking news report together, or maybe we'll just see them in PSVR this week. But definitely expect coverage on any little things that you've seen very shortly. So, guys, any closing comments for the week?
No, man.
No, I think
Bring
we
on
pretty
Blood and
much covered
Truth.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get down to that Blood and Truth, man.
So ready, man.
Yeah, I do want to say that it should.
Oh,
Go ahead.
I will say, Beat Saber is apparently working on their new DLC for PSVR, and it's going to feature non-electric songs, is what they're aiming for. So,
Acoustic guitars only, you're saying? Just like
acoustic flamenco,
I think
flamenco exclusive
Yeah.
DLC.
Not
No, but
electronic.
so all the Beat Saber people out there that are like me, that are like, I like rock, I like metal, I like other stuff. You know, I like those songs that they put in there. They're fun to play, but it was like, you know, in terms of like listening to them, it's like I want to be able to play the game that's awesome and have music that you like some of those songs, even from Box VR. I like some of those songs.
Yeah.
Oh
And
yeah.
to have some of that straight metal or straight rock and roll, really excited to hear. It's going to be relatively soon, so don't be expecting anything like tomorrow.
Right.
But keep an ear out, and we'll definitely keep you posted
The
when we
exciting
hear more.
the exciting thing about the Beat Saber update news is that they basically were like they dealt with a lot of problems last time around, and you know, getting like the new content in and everything with the UI or whatever. But they basically said once we get this stuff out there, then like the updates will be much faster and much more regular. So I think we will definitely see the update sooner rather than later.
And I think part of it too is they've been working on the Quest release like over the last few months, optimizing that, getting that ready. So like now that that's out of the way, the update packs can be completely focused on with that increased time frame. So I think we should see them a lot more regularly for sure.
For sure. And I'm always fascinated that there's stuff that just drops randomly on the PlayStation Store that like we get no
where did
advance notice
1111
from.
come from?
Right? No
Where the
advance
fuck did that
notice.
come from?
And so it's like so you know, PSVR this week we try our hardest to like rally up everything and like find everything that's coming out for the week, and then like that's just like, you know, out of nowhere.
Sci-Fi said fuck your show.
Yeah, I mean, that's not unexpected. But for anyone who does follow the channel regularly and has noticed that developer interviews have just totally fallen by the wayside, I do want to say that I just got all the footage from my First Contact Entertainment interview. Whenever possible, we have them film on their side as well to keep the quality as high as possible. And I just got all that footage back tonight. I interviewed Shabs, the game director over at First Contact, and exactly, Damoun. Man, I gotta pronounce his name correctly.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, you talked to him, so I'm glad you know how to say his name.
Yeah, it's strangely the last name gets me every time, but So basically, I don't know if we're going to be back on a regular basis every single Saturday. If it's going to be like developer interviews every single Saturday, but I am talking to quite a few developers and trying to line those up and see who can talk to me when, and we'll see if But the point is that there will be one this Saturday, and I'm very, very happy that there is, because I hadn't done one in a very long time. And when I finished the interview, my first thought was, that felt good. Like I just needed to get that quote unquote journalistic part of me out for the week, because I don't always get to experiment with
journalism.
That. Yeah, whatever. I take this seriously, and I don't know if that always shows, but. And that's pretty much it, guys. Make sure you join our Discord. We do have some updates on the Discord. We are basically loosening our no self-promotion stance on the Discord. There is now a dedicated channel for that.
Come share your stuff.
Yeah, please don't share your self-promotion stuff in the general area or in the PSVR area. There's a very specific channel called, I believe, Go Live, and and it's only for live streaming. It's like this isn't the place to share your reviews or your first impressions that you record. If you're going to do a live stream and you want some extra viewers checking your stuff out, man, go post it there, and that's where it belongs. We're always listening to all the game cats and seeing what you guys are interested in, and then talking to the moderators and seeing if there's a way to do it. And still not let the entire community go to fucking hell, because very quickly it can do that.
Not safe for work channel now too. Not safe for work channel if you guys want to post weird shit.
Yeah, the NSFW channel is interesting because we did have some people who were interested in having conversations about racism in video games and this and that, whatever, all these different things that weren't really. They're really hot topic. I thought
it was for boobs or something.
Yeah, whatever. But it's but the reason it was created wasn't for boobs, right? It was.
I know. I figured as much.
It was for when people are having conversations that are just sensitive and that.
Right. We don't want anybody to get offended. But we also want people to be able to speak their minds and address topics that may be controversial. As long as they're respectful.
Yeah.
If you just be respectful to one another, and you'll be fine.
Absolutely. So make sure you click that Discord link in the description below and join us over there. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. You like the video, you do all that stuff. Make sure you join us. Hit us up on patreon.com/withoutparole and support the channel. When I say that I'm living off of Patreon support, no joke, man. It is and you can see how much I'm not making. So thank you guys for all the support that you're giving us, and just know that I spend 80 hours a week on this channel and do very, very little else with my life. So your money goes to a very good place. I appreciate you all, and I love you all. All right, guys. I think that pretty much does it for another episode of PSVR GamesCast Live. Thank you, everybody, for watching us and sticking with us for... We always go so long, man. I don't know.
Well, this was one of the shortest ones so far. It's only an hour and a half.
Yeah, this is pretty short in comparison.
Craziness.
You sure we don't have anything else to talk about?
you want to drag this out a little bit?
I've got
AJ,
one.
What about that story you were going to tell?
Yeah. We're gonna get to that.
Let's do that over the end credits or something.
Is that when we're doing that?
Yeah.
We could.
No one tells me anything. All right, guys. Well, thank you, Dave, and thank you, AJ, for hanging out and having an awesome conversation again this week.
Thanks for having me, as always.
Make sure everybody watching goes and subscribes to their channels, and I think that does it. So, thank you all so much for watching. We love you all.
Catch y'all later.
So, I went to the gas station the other day, which I call it either the grocery station or the gas store, and
okay.
I went there. I pulled up to get. It's really close, which is why I go there a lot, and I'm lazy.
Yeah.
But I went there. I pulled up, and as I'm getting out of the car, this guy. I hear somebody being like, "Hey, hey, and I'm like, oh God. So I just try to ignore it, and I just ignore it as much as I can. And he's like, hey, and like wouldn't let me go. And I was like, shit. Okay. So I turn around. I'm like, what's up, man? And he's like, hey, I'm trying to get the license plate off my car. Do you have a screwdriver or anything? I'm like, well, I usually do actually have tools in my car, but yeah, so I was like, I usually do have some tools, so let me check real quick. So I'm looking around and like I don't see it, and I'm like, damn. And the guy that's with him is like, you should always have a screwdriver or something in your car. I'm like, dude, you're coming up. I'm like, you're coming up to me and you're asking me for a screwdriver just on the street, and then you're being like, oh, well, you should always have a screwdriver. Go fuck yourself.
Take a look in the mirror, bitch.
But so anyway, so I find I recently had a flat tire, so I had my tire iron out, and I was like, "Would this work?" And he's like, "Yeah." So he grabs the tire iron and he uses that, and then of course right after that, I find my screwdriver, and I'm like, "Oh, here, man! I do have it. See?" And the guy gives me like the guy that said that shit before gives me like the look, and he's like, "That's what's up," and he gives me like the chest bump, like the like pounding his chest, like, "Oh yeah." So I'm walking inside, and as I'm walking inside, there's the guy that has like, he's like the retired military veteran, that's like really old and always has like great war stories and stuff. And like as I'm passing by him to go inside, he's like, you should always be prepared. And so like I was like, yeah, man, I was prepared. I had
watching the whole thing.
I don't know. Yeah, he's always watching everything.
Okay,
that's where he is every single day.
That's his job, I guess, right?
Right, it kind of is now. Yeah, they hired him. But so then I get my stuff from the gas station, and then I come back outside, and he's like, "You see this Swiss Army knife?" He's like, "I always have this." He shows me the Swiss Army knife on his loop on his belt or whatever, and he's like, "This is why I always carry a Swiss Army knife, because it saved my life one day." And I was like, really? Okay. So now I was like getting into my car, and I'm like, okay, now I got to hear what happened. How the hell did this?
There's a story inside.
How the hell did this Swiss Army knife like save this guy's life? I'm like, damn it, he got me. So so I was like, okay, so I'll stay. What happened? And he's like, well, I was driving, and if I didn't have this Swiss Army knife, I would have drowned. And I was like, oh shit, so you got into a wreck, into like a lake or something. And he was like, yep. And I was like, so what'd you do? You break the window with it? He's like, no, because of this Swiss Army knife, I was able to cut my buckle off of my thing, and I would have drowned without it. I was like, holy shit. I was like, you know what? I actually have a Swiss Army knife. I might consider, using one from now on. And then he just looks at me and he goes, yeah, I just wish there wasn't anyone else in the car.
Is that a scary story you tell your kids at night or some shit?
Okay, I made up that last part.
God damn it, you don't have to say it so quick. Let it sit for a minute. Fucking sell the line. Wait, Brian, I feel like this reminds me of that fake ass Dunkin' Donut story you were trying to tell.
I was trying to tell it last week, but my mic wasn't on, so no one even heard it.
Guys, you didn't hear this, but Brian was just making up some story about a girl checking him out.
I was trying to introduce the show in a funny way, and my mic was off, so it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it was me being like, that didn't happen, Brian.
Dude, they've been staring at a black screen for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, we'll see you guys later.
We love you guys.
Catch you in the Discord.
Have a good night, guys.